You should go before you find out how dangerous we all are.
Well, pardon me, young man, and excuse the shit out of my goddamn French, but did you just threaten me?
In post-apocalyptic movies and TV shows, there's oftentimes a point in the story where the characters come upon a military or government-run security checkpoint. I've always wondered what it was like from the other side of the fence. And today, I'm playing a game that explores just that concept. Quarantine Zone. Oh. Ooh, this looks very official. Okay. Why am I so short? I'm short as hell. Maybe they got stilts in those boots of theirs. But I am very short. It's a nice rifle you got there. We got suppressors. We got holographics. Okay. Ops cores. Am I wearing I hope I'm wearing protective gear. In this game, you are the commander of a military garrison at this checkpoint in a post-apocalyptic, zombie-ridden world. It is your job to keep the infection out and make sure that the right people get in. And that's easier said than done. Oftentimes, you're looking for the smallest minute details to tip off whether or not you're letting in somebody who needs the help or the largest security breach of your life. Well, I don't know what the symptoms are of the virus, though. Oh, yellow eyes. Okay. Conjunctivitis.
You are in a quarantine zone. Stay calm and wait for
Red
your turn.
eyes.
Remove your outer clothing.
Okay, your eyes look
mask,
cool,
glasses,
though.
and gloves.
Wait, do your eyes look chill? I'm colorblind. Is there a colorblind setting for this game? Colorblind mode. Yes, please. What the hell? What is that? It's a little unclear what the ultimate goal is, but for you can tell that ultimately what the resistance needs is people. So you can't just go around liquidating every person that comes to the gate, because then you'll miss those ever important quotas. So what do? Well, you look for telltale signs of the infection. And those signs progressively get more and more condensed as the game goes on. See, we gotta cut the waste.
This is just a bad dream.
Alright, your eyes look fine. You're hiccuping. Interesting. Anything you say or do, such as hiccuping, will be used against you in the court of my court. Got some weird stuff going on with the hand there. Alright, well, I think you're just sick. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't see anything else wrong with you. Don't have room in quarantine, so I don't want to kill you. So, it looks like you're going to the survivor block.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting this.
You weren't... That's not good. That's a bring her back. Bring her right back here. We can change our mind real quick. Now there's multiple modes on offer here. You could play an endless mode where you pretty much go at the start with pretty much everything that you would unlock in the campaign progressively all together. And then you just buy your upgrades as it goes on, but you have those base tools at your disposal. Or you can do what I did and play the campaign, which is a much more hand-holdy experience in the beginning and very story-driven. However, it not only offers a great introduction to the game, but as it goes on, it kind of lets you steal the show and lets you dictate whether or not you're going to complete the different objectives that are given to you by high command. So that's not good for you. I'm going to keep it a buck. Yeah. Yep, you're cooked. Any other symptoms? I'm not seeing any. Yeah, just the crazy temp. What was your pulse? 144. Can I mark that down? Yeah, you got an elevated pulse. That isn't gonna change your outcome though, because.
What do you mean special processing?
And you're about to find out. Okay, so that was everything. I really enjoyed the variety of different objectives that this game would give you. Obviously, there was the bigger objectives like meet your quotas, get enough research done, do your job well for one, but there was also the smaller objectives. They would come in every single day saying, hey, well, we need to capture this specific person. And so when they do come in the line, identify them and then send them directly to quarantine. Or, you know, do what you gotta do and get rid of them. The fun part about this is if you're caught up in the experience of just making sure you're not messing up and keeping your camp safe, it is very easy to lose track of the quest and say, oh, heck, like I forgot I wasn't checking for this specific thing. And then you look back and you're like, oh no, I remember I let that guy in just a while ago. And little did I know he had a grenade up his bum. Jesus Christ. Lady, is this all you needed for your survival? Was a bunch of lemons and a bottle of water? Alright. Yep, normal. Alright, you're look, you're fine, I'm gonna let you in, but you're probably gonna get killed by the lady that I should have killed because I shot her and she got back up. That should have been the telltale sign.
Thanks.
Someone store ignitable lemons and burn the convoy. 5 guards and 8 survivors are dead. 1 lemon is enough to burn down the base, so keep your eyes open. The game also didn't shy away from the chance to not take itself so seriously and give you a few laughs in the middle of it. Obviously, there was some more story-driven quests where you're trying to reunite families and, you know, do the good work of a government trying to come in during a disaster and provide aid. But on the other hand, you would also be working the checkpoint and come across a fully skeletonized survivor who you could not check at all with your normal tools because he does not have skin, therefore does not show the signs of infection that all the other survivors would, just to find out that this guy is actually in fact infected. And he's so nonchalant about it when you're ushering him away to be liquidated. It's actually pretty astounding. But you know, those are the kind of vibes that you gotta have when the world's ending, I guess. You gotta be just a chill guy. Keep getting this poor inspection stuff, but like, this man...
Don't worry, I'm not sick. I just look like this.
Okay, what the actual heck is going on here? That is a whole skeleton. Is there no pulse? Oh, okay, so he has a pulse. This is a living, breathing entity. I can't check his eyes. Let's check his reflexes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Uh-huh, you almost got me. You almost got me. Ah, I got you now, buddy. I got you now. You're going straight to the slammer. And by slammer, I mean a small room where we're going to fill you with bullets.
Ah, come on, buddy. I'm not sick. Don't send me to liquidation. Please. I thought we were friends.
So now let's get into the different types of tools that you'll use. Well, for one, your very own 2 eyes, which are a lot more useful in this game than you would expect. Especially in the early rounds, a lot of the telltale signs of infection will be by visual cues, whether blemishes on the skin or redness in the eyes. Simple, nuanced things like that you can take one look at a survivor and say, hey, you know, this has got to go. She wasn't expecting to make it through. All right, brother, what is that?
Symptoms. See?
Brother, you're literally a walking symptom.
You are in a quarantine zone. Stay calm and wait
Right,
for
because that's a bite. That's quite clearly a bite. You're going to liquidation. A real easy
I trust
choice.
you guys, but this feels wrong.
Yeah, you should trust us, buddy. Just keep trusting us all the way around that corner, too. Next. But then, as you're going through that process and learning how it works, that's when they introduce a new problem. And that problem is clothing. You're trying to check all these nooks and crannies on a person, and you're saying, hey, Like, I'm just trying to make sure that, you know, these guys don't have any of these telltale signs of infection. And people will come in wearing long overcoats and long pants and boots, and you're not able to see anything. Well, then, while presenting that problem to you, the game also provides you with an answer, which is one of your tools. It's kind of like this little x-ray gun type situation where you can go in and check somebody's skin under the clothing.
Thank you.
Or inspection is interesting.
Just check. You'll see I'm fine.
Okay, this is the Dead by Daylight guy. Your foot looks terrible, dude. Foot is all kind of Ooh. That's a bite mark. Ha 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 ha. Oh man. They try to get you, you know? They try to get you, and it's just not gonna work for me, pal. Get out of here.
Where am I going now?
Aside from that, you also have a thermometer, which will also read somebody's pulse and can tell you if they're experiencing a heightened heart rate or a heightened temperature. That would lead them to also be in question for having the infection. Those eyes don't look so yellow as they do red, but could be tripping here. They look pretty red though. Your temperature is off the charts bad, dude. Off the charts bad. I'm gonna give you red eyes, so I think that's what you have. Either way, you're going to liquidation.
Is it like a bunker?
Yep, something like that. As far as the rest of the tools, there was pretty much an MRI on steroids that you could just hold in your hand, and you could actually see it was very detailed and very well rendered, I guess is the best way to put it. You could actually see like the whole human body in different layers, and you would be checking people for contraband essentially that they were trying to hide inside their bodies. And then realistically, that's not something you're gonna handle. If you do find something, you call over the expert and he handles it, and then you carry on your investigation. Grenade up your ass? That's a grenade.
In a quarantine zone.
That is
An actual grenade up your ass.
Remove your outer clothing, hats, glasses, and gloves.
that was a whole grenade.
Do we still let her in after she tried to sneak a...
Fucking grenade.
Into the fucking base? I don't think so, me personally, but... Are you like perfectly healthy other than the fucking grenade up your ass? Wow, you really just had that you were just doing that shit for the love of the game. That's insane.
Move it.
Contraband not seized. If she blows up, dude. There was a type of optical tool where you could actually look even deeper on a microscopic level into somebody's eye to check for infection. There was also like a little hammer thing. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the doctor. I hope you've been to the doctor. You should get your annual checkups. This is your daily reminder to get your annual checkups when you need to. But they have that little hammer thing that the doctor goes and whacks your appendages with and sees your response time. I'm sure there's a lot better way of explaining this, more medically professional way of explaining this, but they do that. If you've experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. And you get essentially the same tool. Now this one's a little bit, roided out. It's a bit bigger and actually looks like it would envelop way more of a pain response, but what you're actually checking for is if they react at all. They're not supposed to react, which I think is a little weird. If you like hit them, I would expect like a little reaction, but actually the first few times I tried it, it was actually giving me the telltale sign, which was if you hit them, they hit you back, or if you hit them, this is probably the funniest and jankiest one, you hit them and the opposite side of their body from the one you hit would respond in kind. So it's kind of like a really funny way of saying, hey, yeah, something's not working right in this person's body, and then you would proceed to liquidate them. Not great. Not great. Not the best.
Thank you for at least not yelling at me.
I did yell at you, so you can't hear Steady 36, steady pulse. Check this. Oh, what? Oh, I got you. Oh, I got you. You thought you were slick. You thought you were super slick. But, you see, the issue with that is
I'm so tired of this.
I don't miss. I don't miss, except for when I accidentally kill civilians. Then I miss, but in this particular case, spot on. Green.
Hello?
Finally, there was one last tool, and probably my favorite tool. And it is a gun. Just straight up. Just straight up a firearm.
Um,
How did you get back up from that?
And it was really interesting to, instead of ushering somebody over to get dealt with quietly, to just cap them right there in line. And obviously they added like this extra layer to it. So it was like the infected individuals were becoming more aggressive and they would actually attack you in line. So you needed to arm yourself just in case of that eventuality. However, if I was in a government line, essentially like a queue or a checkpoint, and the guy ahead of me that I was just chopping it up at the bit for like 30 minutes just gets capped, I would immediately remove myself from that queue, infected or not. Frankly, it's not worth the risk. These guys are unhinged. Somehow this means you're good. I don't know how, but somehow this means you're good. But I'm glad you're waiting on somebody. I hope I can read. What the fuck? Unregulated liquidation? He fucking punched me. What was I supposed to do about that? As you carried on, there was actually more subsystems built into the general gameplay loop that made the game feel way more in-depth than you would expect. Essentially, what would happen is if you came across something unexpected, you would mark it as a unforeseen or a mutation of the infection that you haven't come across before. And instead of you just saying, oh, well, this is weird, and then somebody comes and explains it to you, and then you get the new tool, in this case, you would actually have to take a sample from the person you found, which, didn't turn out too well for them. Okay. Okay, ma'am, you're getting to the infected part, which is great for us and terrible for you. You're gonna go to the lab. But then you would analyze said sample and develop kind of like a progression tree on the types of symptoms you can find and what would actually lead to an infection. So you kind of build out this understanding of the infection as you go along in the game, and you don't have it laid out right in front of you like you would expect in a lot of other games, which I really appreciated. It really grounded the gameplay and made you feel like, yeah, you and everybody else around you was just discovering how this thing worked and tried to adapt to it as best as you could. Especially early on when you're using these somewhat remedial tools, it's not so quick and clear and cut as saying, hey, this guy has a little bit of redness on him. Let's, let's go tell him to look at the flowers and, knock the lights out. Oftentimes, you're faced with a situation where you can't really tell if somebody is just sick or if they are actually starting to show the early signs of an infection. In that case, what you have to do is you have to quarantine them. Now, quarantining people is a really interesting aspect of this game because it's beyond the contraband police style where you kind of solve the problems as they come to you. in this game, you actually have to plan ahead a little bit and utilize the real estate of your quarantine space to the point where if you're not feeling strongly about whether or not this person is a threat to the checkpoint, you sit them in the quarantine cell, and either as time goes on, they will either become better and show improvement and start to lose the signs of the infection, or they will get even worse and begin to show more telltale signs. At that point, you would decide to liquidate them on the spot. But this is also a time for some realistic interpretations of how this would work, because surely you're going to come across more than one person that you're not feeling one way or the other about, so you put them in the quarantine zone, and then you come across another, so you put them in the quarantine zone, and then next thing you know, when you go in to check on them the next day, yeah, one person was safe, but the other turned into a zombie and ate them because they were sharing the same cell. And I thought that was a neat little touch, because you can't just say, oh, well, you know, I don't want to mess up, so I'm gonna, not only is there limited space in the quarantine cell, but also you couldn't just expect to get perfect results. If you felt like somebody was starting to progress in a negative way, you would have to be very vigilant about that. And on the reoccurring times where you go in to check up on them, if they're showing signs of developing further and further into the infection, you would need to get rid of them very quickly before they start to pose a threat to people who might be improving. Well, we're actually being good for once.
Identification verified.
Oh God.
No incident reported.
No. Oh, one of them was infected, but no. Oh, I meant to open the door. Why? Oh my God. No. I meant to open the door.
This game offers a ton. I mean, aside from the very basic, contraband police style checkpoint game, it also offers a little bit of base building management and simulation, as well as a interesting little take on kind of a point and shoot mini game that would come incrementally as the campaign progressed. And it wasn't something that you could just, pass or fail, and it didn't really make a difference. It actually was required for you to pass. And so when it came to the base management and simulation portion, you might feel the need to upgrade your defenses or invest into your defensive capabilities at the checkpoint. There's also the tiny bits of life and, sparks of humanity within your camp. In this post-apocalyptic world, it's really fun to have characters that are just kind of like doing their jobs and and not making too much of the brevity of the situation. And for us in this game, that comes in the form of our assistant Georgie, who I don't really know what his job is. He kind of explains each new tool to you, but aside from that, he just kind of sits there and watch you do the whole job without offering much help, which I found really interesting, by the way, because I'm the commander of this checkpoint, and I'm doing all the legwork in the camp, which, whatever. But I could use some help around this place, guys. All right. Straight into the metal. Brother.
My hands won't stop shaking.
Brother. Lady, you're carrying an arsenal with you. Is that a...
Golden chainsaw.
Take
Brother.
cover. Just let me through.
Every single one of those things.
It helps me sleep.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. You gotta be one paranoid motherfucker. Ultimately, your goal is to obviously save as many people as you can, which is an honorable goal. Obviously, me being the one in charge, I didn't get that done to much effect, but I tried my best, and I actually progressed a lot farther than I thought I would. Now, this game has been out for a while, to my understanding, and it's gotten plenty of updates and continues to receive updates, so I'm a little late to the party here. It's not the first time, but when I saw it was on sale, on Steam, I was like, man, I really I've thought about checking out this game before, and I'd really like to, give it the old college try, and I did, and I'm glad that I did, because it was a really enjoyable experience. And as of recording, it's still on sale, so if you hear anything that you might be interested in, feel free to go pick it up. If you liked this video, consider giving it a like. If you really like this video, consider subscribing for more. And if you didn't like this video, face the wall. But either way, thank you so much for your time. And I can't wait to talk to you real soon. I've been Rinsler. Peace.